In 1943, 40% of our nation's produce came from backyards, not giant, fragile industrial farms. Our grandparents and great-grandparents knew something that the modern world forgot on purpose. They knew exactly how to turn a tiny, overlooked patch of dirt into a high-calorie insurance policy for their families. Today, most people think gardening is a cute little hobby for growing delicate salad greens and a few watery tomatoes. But historically, a true victory garden was never about salads. It was about raw, sustaining calories and absolute survival when the systems became uncertain. We are watching grocery store prices rise, and we are watching the global supply chain struggle under the weight of increasing complexity. It is time to remember the old ways. Today, I am going to show you 9 high-calorie crops for uncertain times, the exact staples my grandmother grew to feed a family of 6 when the world went dark. You will want to pay very close attention to number 3, and especially number 7, the boss crop that can sit on a shelf for 6 whole months without refrigeration, acting as a living canned good. Modern research now suggests that these homegrown, soil-grown staples carry up to 40% more minerals than the industrial crops pushed on us today. This is not just gardening. This is your family's fortress. Let us begin building it. Every time you walk down the supermarket aisle today, you are paying a premium for empty, hollow carbohydrates shipped from 1,000 miles away. The modern system charges you triple for a bag of potatoes that have been sprayed, scrubbed, and stripped of their nutritional soul. We are spending a fortune just to put basic bulk on the dinner table while the industrial giants thrive. But step back into the deep, bitter winters of the 18th and 19th centuries. The potato was not a side dish. It was the absolute center of gravity for working families across the globe. When the frost bit the earth and the grain silos ran completely dry, families turned to the dark, quiet earth. A cellar packed full of dirt-crusted potatoes meant a family would live to see the spring. The potato was an underground vault of energy, hidden, safe, and completely immune to the chaos of the world above. There is an ancient logic at work inside this humble tuber. It acts as a biological sponge, pulling potassium, iron, and dense energy directly from the soil. It is not just empty starch. A true soil-grown potato contains almost every vital mineral the human body requires to maintain stamina and support strong bones during times of scarcity. Those complex starches provide a slow, steady release of fuel, keeping the human furnace burning hot through freezing nights. Look at the brutal math. For the cost of a few dollars in seed potatoes, you can yield over 50 pounds of calorie-dense food from a simple 10-foot trench. You are producing thousands of calories that bypass the fragile supply chain entirely, securing your independence from market volatility. At today's prices, that is a return on investment no bank will ever offer you. Right now, the cost of quality protein is becoming a burden for many families. We are forced to rely on a hyper-fragile meat supply chain that can be affected by a single glitch in a processing plant or a sudden spike in fuel costs. The modern grocery store treats protein as a luxury, but cast your mind back to the difficult years of the 1930s, during the darkest days of the Great Depression. When resources were scarce, families did not starve. They survived through the quiet power of the dried bean. Grandmothers would soak a handful of dried beans overnight, transforming what looked like a handful of gravel into a rich, thick, life-sustaining stew. It was known as the poor man's meat, the unglamorous, ironclad foundation of the frontier. They planted them alongside corn to climb the stalks, a genius system passed down through generations. This is because the bean operates on a profound ancient logic. It does not just take from the earth. It actually pulls pure nitrogen down from the atmosphere and pushes it deep into the soil. It is an edible fertilizer. When combined with a simple grain, it forms a complete, unbroken chain of amino acids, exactly what the human body uses to repair muscle and fortify the blood. The math is undeniable. A small row of beans costs less than a single cup of premium coffee to plant, yet it can yield up to 10 pounds of dried, shelf-stable protein. That is protein that will sit in a glass jar for a decade, completely immune to inflation, costing pennies per serving while the rest of the world pays premium prices at the butcher counter. The moment the first snow falls today, modern families are held hostage by the global shipping grid. We pay exorbitant prices for wilted, out-of-season vegetables trucked in from half a world away, wasting our money on food that rots in the refrigerator drawer within 3 days. It is a system designed to make you totally dependent on continuous supply lines. Yet, if you were to walk into a grandmother's root cellar in the freezing winter of 1943, you would not see delicate imported greens. You would see crates piled high with massive rock-solid turnips and rutabagas. During the rationing of the Second World War, these crops were the silent heroes of the home front. While supply ships were uncertain, ordinary citizens dug these heavy roots from the semi-frozen earth. They mashed them, baked them into heavy pies, and they kept their children fed and strong. There is a beautiful biological mechanism within these heavy roots. As the temperatures drop, a protective survival response occurs deep within the plant structure. The cold triggers the conversion of starches into natural sugars, acting as a biological antifreeze. This not only makes them sweeter after a hard frost, but it perfectly preserves their dense stores of vitamin C and calcium. When you run the math, the true value becomes staggering. A single packet of turnip seeds costs roughly $2. Broadcast them over a small patch, and you will pull up over 100 pounds of dense food. They require no expensive canning equipment and no electricity. You just bury them in sand, saving your family hundreds of dollars in winter grocery bills. Today, the modern system has transformed the very idea of corn, turning it into hyper-processed ingredients that do not support long-term health. We pay high prices for dead, boxed cereals, completely forgetting that real grain used to be the absolute backbone of human survival. Picture a snowbound pioneer cabin in 1881. The snow is piled high, but the family inside is perfectly safe. They have burlap sacks filled with dried field corn, known as dent corn. It was never meant to be eaten fresh off the cob. They let it dry right on the stalk until it was as hard as flint. Every single morning, the grandmother would grind a few handfuls through a hand mill, making hot, dense cornmeal mush that provided the sheer horsepower needed to chop wood and survive the freezing temperatures. The ancient logic of dent corn is profound. It utilizes a rare biological pathway, acting like a biological solar panel that absorbs maximum sunlight and locks it down into indestructible, long-chain carbohydrates. This is not empty sugar, it is dense, slow-burning fuel. It captures the raw energy of the summer sun and stores it indefinitely in a kernel so hard it is practically immune to rot. The math is exactly why the pioneers survived. A single ear holds up to 800 kernels, and each one can grow a 10-foot stalk. A small bag of heirloom seed can yield over 300 pounds of dried grain. It requires zero refrigeration and will easily feed your family for an entire year when market shelves go bare. The modern household is completely chained to the refrigerator, terrified that without a constant hum of electricity, their vegetables will turn to sludge within a week. We spend a fortune on delicate greens wrapped in plastic, trapped in an expensive cycle of rapid spoilage. But look back at the winters of Eastern Europe in the early 20th century. Entire villages survived the freezing months on the quiet strength of the winter cabbage. They did not have refrigeration. They had heavy oak barrels. They would harvest these massive heads of cabbage, shred them down, pack them with salt, and let the earth do the rest. That fermented cabbage kept generations strong and resilient when fresh food disappeared under feet of snow. The science behind this survival food is genius. Cabbage is designed with tightly packed, waxy leaves that resist frost, but the real ancient logic activates when it is salted and stored. It undergoes lactofermentation, a natural process where beneficial bacteria consume the sugars and produce lactic acid. This acidic environment acts as an impenetrable shield, locking in vitamin C and producing natural enzymes that support digestion without a single drop of artificial preservatives. The math is almost unfair to the modern grocery stores. A tiny packet of cabbage seeds can produce over 50 heavy heads, weighing up to 5 pounds each. You are growing over 200 pounds of dense, preserving food for pennies. When you ferment it, you create a stockpile of nutrients that lasts for months, saving you from buying overpriced vegetables all winter long. Today, the health industry charges a massive premium for exotic, imported superfoods, convincing you that true nutrition must be shipped from across the globe in a shiny package. We drain our wallets chasing vitamins while ignoring the ultimate powerhouse that our ancestors depended on. During the Great Depression, when cash crops failed, it was the sweet potato that kept families from hunger. Families would plant a small patch, and those vigorous vines would crawl over the dry earth, creating a lush canopy. Beneath the soil, away from the punishing sun, massive, calorie-dense roots were quietly swelling. They were dug up and roasted, providing deep, sustaining warmth. The biological mechanism of the sweet potato is a marvel of ancient logic. It drives deep taproots into exhausted dirt, pulling up trace minerals and a massive payload of beta-carotene. It acts as a biological vault, converting poor soil into dense carbohydrates that support steady energy and physical stamina. It does not require expensive compost. It thrives where weaker plants simply give up. Look at the undeniable math. You do not even need to buy seeds. You take one single organic sweet potato from the store, sprout it in a jar of water, and it will produce up to 20 slips. Plant those slips, and that one potato turns into a 50-pound harvest. You are quite literally multiplying your food from nothing, securing a caloric safety net for $0. Which brings us to the boss item, number 7. When the modern power grid faces challenges, the first thing people do is panic as their freezers thaw. Thousands of dollars of frozen food ends up being wasted. We have traded true security for the illusion of a fragile electrical appliance. But our great-grandparents did not fear the power going out. In the late 1800s, farmers relied heavily on the Hubbard squash. They did not freeze it. They did not even can it. They just carried these massive blue-green squashes into a spare bedroom or a dry cellar, stacking them high. A family could pull a Hubbard squash off the shelf in the dead of February, split it open, and bake it. It was exactly like opening a fresh can of food, but the can was grown in the dirt. This is the ultimate living canned good. The ancient logic here lies in its heavy armor. The Hubbard squash develops a thick, impenetrable rind, a biological bunker that seals the moisture and the dense calories securely inside. As it sits on the shelf for months, the starches slowly convert to natural sugars, actually becoming richer and more nourishing as the winter drags on. The math of the Hubbard squash will change how you view food storage forever. One hill of squash grown from cents worth of seed can produce 5 massive fruits weighing up to 20 pounds each. That is 100 pounds of premium carbohydrates that requires 0 electricity to store. Rounding out our list are sunflowers and beets. Sunflowers provide the essential fats and oils that are often the hardest thing to source in a self-sufficient system. Their seeds are dense energy packets that can be pressed for oil or eaten whole. Beets, on the other hand, provide the deep earth minerals and nitrates that support heart health and circulation, and like their cousin the turnip, they store beautifully in damp sand for half a year. We have been domesticated by convenience. Over the last 50 years, we traded the capable hands of our grandfathers for the ease of a barcode scanner. We outsourced our fundamental survival to systems that view us only as consumers. They want you dependent on their fragile supply lines and their price hikes. But there is a quiet rebellion happening right now, an ancestral awakening. It is the profound realization that true, lasting freedom does not come from a bank account. It comes from the soil. When you hold a heavy, dirt-crusted vegetable that you grew with your own 2 hands, something ancient wakes up inside your DNA. You are no longer just a consumer. You become a producer. You step out of the rigged game and return to natural law. This is about reclaiming your family's sovereign independence. It is about looking at rising prices and knowing you have a cellar full of sustaining calories waiting in the dark. It is the absolute peace of mind that comes from knowing that if the delivery trucks stop tomorrow morning, your children will not go hungry. You are building an invisible fortress. So here is your framework for the uncertain season ahead. Do not try to plant a massive farm on day 1. Start strictly with the calories. Pick a simple patch of dirt, remove the lawn, and plant the heavy lifters. Get the potatoes in the ground. Secure your winter protein with climbing beans. And make absolutely sure you plant the Hubbard squash, your living canned goods. Water them, protect them, and watch as your family's ultimate insurance policy grows. You are not just planting a garden. You are planting generational resilience. You are stepping entirely off the wheel of inflation and planned obsolescence. If you are ready to stop being a victim of the modern grocery system, if you are ready to learn exactly how to build this ancestral fortress for your own family, then you know exactly what to do. Subscribe to this channel right now. Share this video with another family who needs to wake up and start planting before it is too late. The system is changing, but we do not have to fall with it. Stay strong, stay rooted, and I will see you in the next one. For those who want to take the next step, I have a detailed guide on building your own zero-electricity root cellar linked in the description below. Let's get to work.